Hey guys, welcome to your Fridays in your Max Salary Week. I'm very excited to be here today. We're going to talk about a very important meeting, a very important topic. I'm Dr Myrdalis Diaz-Ramirez. I'm the creator of the Max Salary Mastermind and the Design Your Physician Life podcast. And right now, what I'm trying to do is get my hearing things here ready so that they were a little bit messy. And I'm going to be talking today about building teams. And it's easier to build teams when you don't have a mess for your microphone and your hearing. So I guess, you know what, I should not have gone live if I wasn't ready. But hopefully you'll respect me a little bit more by saying that I'm human and I have this here. Anyways, I'm almost there. It's really a big mess here. Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. There. Okay, so hopefully now you can hear me better and I can hear this better. So thank you for being with me here today. Today I want to expand on this topic that we've been talking about this week. We've been talking about building your teams. And to me, it's been a great book to read, and I think it brings a great point of how we can really build better teams that will help us and be after our cause and support us and make them happy at the same way we all grow together. It's this book from Simon Sinek. It's called The Infinite Mindset. Everything starts with mindset, so I think that building our teams, I was looking in my life for a definition of, what were the things that I saw that were not good somewhere, that made me leave different situations, and then that made me create some other situations. And it's this thing really at the end of the day, calling it an infinite mindset. So when we have an infinite mindset, we're able to build teams that are going to be really better for us in the long term, and you won't see that recurrence and that exchange of employees and that turnaround, right? They call it the revolving door. When we are on an infinite mindset, we're seeing a game with no end, right? Like we just want to keep going playing the game. Obviously, we're going to be paying attention to our financials, but we're in a game where we're going to be having the opportunity to build and foster trust with our employees. We're going to have innovation, and we're going to have a situation where we're inspiring and we're motivating those who work for us. And that's how you build great teams. So when you have an infinite mindset, you're going to have long-term focus, right? You want to be leading with success and longevity of that company. Looking back at some other employment situations where I've been, and I think, why was the situation like that? Why was it in such a way that there was such a turnover of people, and we didn't feel comfortable in that situation, and things were not running maybe according to our principles? And it's really because probably they were ruling with what we call a finite mindset, right? There's a lot of companies these days that they're just looking at that next transaction. And when we're talking at that next transaction, that means that they're building the company so that they can sell it to another buyer. And when you have that, your focus of that finite end goal is going to be to make money, make profit. We all are there, but everything's going to be measured like that, because when you're selling to somebody else, you're selling those forms, right? The P&Ls and all this stuff. That's what you're selling, so that not necessarily you're going to be measuring during a sale. You're going to be measuring trust of your company in the general community, but more than that, it's going to be the numbers at the end of the day. So if you're in a company that what they're doing is thinking about the next sale, that's what the focus is going to be. They're really not for the infinite game. And when we're creating teams, if you want teams that are going to be longer lasting with you, obviously they want to be feeling that they're going to be part of something greater, unless everybody's under the understanding that this is the finite game, right? The finite mindset, and everybody's, you know what, this is, everybody's going to be there for the next transaction, and that's it. So in the infinite mindset, you're going to be able to create longer lasting teams. One of the things, as I said, is the long-term focus that you have. The other thing that you have is resilience. You want to create a team that's resilient. So you have the opportunity to build a culture of trust, innovation, and cooperation with your employees, and that way they can help you adapt to any changes that happen. And change will happen, right? So if you're there for the long term, you know that change is gonna happen. Creativity, if you encourage a sense of creativity where the employees can come with open, and they feel safe in when they come to you with an idea, that they're not going to be kicked out, right? That the idea is going to be considered. You need methods to be able to consider that idea, of deciding on how, if an idea gets to be used or not. But the fact that you have that openness so that the employees come and they talk to you, and then that's going to increase your innovation, your creativity, and it's going to lead to more and better ideas in your company. So for you to be able to create a great team, having this infinite mindset is going to be, it's of utmost importance. Creating a culture of trust and cooperation doesn't necessarily happen in the finite mindset, because the focus is right there. There's some examples in this book that they were talking about how great companies that they were, previous CEOs were like from the infinite mindset, they changed to a finite mindset CEO, and then suddenly like it changes and the company is going down because there's not that morale. What happens is that maybe they're so focused on what you have to do in terms of the production that the employees are not comfortable anymore, or they start to do things going down what they call the slippery slope of the ethical fading, when your ethics are fading. So that means that they give the example of what happened in Wells Fargo some years ago, where people were like, you have to do so many new products, sell so many products a week or a month or whatever it is, and people were selling fake products because they were under that pressure. I have seen that in medicine too. Unfortunately, too close to me, where there was this company that was putting pressure on their reps to sell a particular drug, a particular medication, and doctors and reps actually fell under that pressure, and they're right now in jail because of doing that. So those are not going to be effective strategies, effective teams. And then if you're just of that finite mindset that's for the next transaction, then that's what you're creating. So you need that infinite mindset for these teams, and fostering trust, encourage cooperation, and building strong teams is going to be utmost important. Some other examples of great infinite mindset leaders besides Simon Sinek, there's also Richard Branson, and then Indra Nooyi. She was the former CEO of PepsiCo, and then, as you know, Richard Branson is from Virgin Galactic. And the way that they're doing their teams really is for the long term. So usually when you're a leader and you want to create this great team behind you, and you're using your infinite mindset to create it, there's going to be like different layers or processes of doing that, stages, if I may say. And the first one is fostering a just cause. So that just cause is that specific mission where everybody goes there. It's besides making money, it's going to make a difference in the world. So that will give the employees a sense of purpose, and it's going to motivate them. If you're in medicine, for example, in creating a wellness center, so you want that transformation for the patients, and you're seeing it. So you're seeing the patients who are coming and they are in this situation in their health, and you want to take them there. And then when we talk to our employees, we talk to them about how we're going to take these patient, and it's not only about that patient, it's going to be about that patient, that community, that family, and then the sense of community, right, that we have, that how we're making our community is living longer, and not only longer, living healthier. And that's the just cause. For example, for Sahavida here in Sarasota, Florida, where we are in our company. Some others will do this through different services or through different, for example, in our Maxillary Mastermind and our podcast Design Your Physician Life, our desire is to help physicians so our communities can have strong and happy physicians who are able to work for joy and not for need. So we want to connect them with resources that they will have, so they will avoid burnout and they will be successful in their personal and professional lives. So that's our sense of purpose. That's why our teams are working in such a great way to help our physicians, and that is our just cause. Then the other thing is leading with empathy. So we want to respect our co-workers, right, our employees, and we want to explain to them and show them that we truly deeply care about their well-being. And the other thing is, like, if you're vulnerable, they'll know that you're human, right? Like, if right now when I signed up for this, I came in and I should have, that might mean that I'm maybe a poor organizer right now today, or just, I just forgot. Like, I was so excited to talk to you today about that, I forgot to undo this thing and then hook it up. Hopefully my team who's here today will say, okay, you know what, she's human, she did this and she took it upon herself to keep going, and then commit to our goal of talking to you guys about creating your teams using this infinite mindset. So those are things that help you create the trust of your team behind you. The other thing is that investing in long-term growth. So one of the things that we do with our team is that we teach them about precisely mindset, right? And precisely about things that they don't only can use here at work, but they can also use in their professional and personal lives somewhere else. So our employees will understand that it's this thing with the just cause and being a home where they can express themselves, and then us leading with a way that we're showing them that we care and that we are here for the better good besides our profits. It's going to help us develop a lasting and positive, long-lasting relationship with our employees. So before we start looking for people, if you listen to our podcast, by the way, do #replay, #live here on and listen to our podcast. Our podcast is called Design Your Physician Life. On Tuesday, I talked a lot more about how to build your teams from the time that you're going to be looking for somebody, hiring them through all that process, and then how you train them and you keep them. So if we want to build good teams, we're going to start first with our why, which is our just cause, so that we can attract people. We want people with good quality also that will match for and will fit our culture. And then once we have that, we're going to, so that we have our why, right? Why, the why of our company to exist. We enroll people who are great for that, and then we create a safe environment for them, and then we invest in their long-term growth. That's how I think, an overview of how we can create great teams. I really didn't understand what I was looking for in defining why we are creating great teams, and really is about that infinite mindset. When people ask me, why did you leave this or X environment? And I'm thinking, what? I left that environment because I really wanted to control my experience. In this case that we built this clinic, my patient's experience and my employees' experience. I did not have a way of defining that. Now I have, and it's thinking about that infinite mindset. We're really not thinking about a future transaction. We're thinking about how we're going to be here making long-term effects in our patients and our community's transformations. And the same thing for our Maxillary Mastermind and our podcast. What are we doing that? Yes, so we come to a situation where we are dealing with an infinite mindset, and we stay away from a finite mindset. An example that they give in this book, which I really liked, was an example from Apple. For example, Apple company, they in retail, if you know of retail, and if you're a physician who's looking to create a product and you're going to be selling that product, you know that in retail there's a lot of turnover. So one of the things that Apple did is that they decided to give their employees the same benefits and in retail that they do at the corporate office. And people will say, oh, but you know what, they have so much money that they can't do that. But as a cost to the company, what they found is that it was not an extra cost because they were saving in getting new people and training them. In medicine, for example, whenever you get a new physician, you have to hire that physician, and that's thousands of dollars, and then you have to train them in systems. And the same way with a lot of our personnel, right? Every time you're hiring somebody, you have to retrain them. And there's cost not only directly with that person that you're hiring, but also there's the indirect cost of hiring somebody, and then what the service or product quality is for your clients or patients, right? So what Apple did is that they expanded those benefits, and now people have exactly the same health insurance. They have the same continued education if they want to have access to that. That way they have saved a lot in hiring new people. And then when you go to the stores, you will find that many of those employees are the same, so they get to know you, and they're not alone. There's other companies that have been doing this, like Costco does that as well. And then you see that the employees last there for a long time, and they will know the processes, the procedures. They will know your products much better, and they will be part of the company. When there's a in hardship times, they talk about the Container Store, for example. In the Container Store, what happened with them is that during the last recession, people were not buying containers to store, like to organize their homes. So they saw a loss, a huge loss. And because they had created a great culture of trust and a great connection with their teams, the teams actually came to help the Container Store as a corporation. And not only their teams, they created teams with their suppliers. So the suppliers were also giving them, a chance and creating opportunities for them so that they could remain and succeed without having to fire people. You'll hear that many companies, the first thing that happens when they are in a hardship situation, they will start firing people. So many of these companies, what they do is that they say, you know what, how can we keep everybody here and then make everybody part of this loss, because we're all going through it together, so that we can remain with most of us working for the company. And then once the situation is over, then we can all go back to producing without having to fire people. And that you only get really from an infinite mindset. So when I moved from a finite mindset leadership away from that, is that really I was looking for a place for an infinite mindset. And I think most of us who have been employees, we're really looking for that, right? When you go to a company, you're not looking for a place where, what's going to be my next step. It depends. There's many people in the careers and these times where they're looking for places where they can, every 2 years jump and then go up in that growth. But companies can also provide that growth for their employees if there's room, without that focus on the finite mindset. So guys, I hope that this was helpful today. I hope that you join us next week. We have a lot of interesting topics coming. The next month, there's going to be a lot of talk about artificial intelligence coming soon, and I hope that you'll learn a little bit more about that. It's a huge change. It's been called like the great shift, or I think that that's going to be affecting a lot of us in medicine and all over the world, and whatever it is that we're doing, it's already affecting us. So we have a lot of that coming up. We also have our mastermind coming up in August. So if you want to sign up, give us a call. You can reach us through our website. That's maxallure.com, MAXALLURE. and listen to our podcast, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with others. That is Design Your Physician Life. And we'll see you then. You have a great 4th of July, and we wish